The 8th of January, it is 2024. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Miriam Kemban, of course, in studio. I'm not alone, I'm joined with my handsome colleague, Nelson Zulu. Good morning, Nelson.
Good morning.
I had to emphasize the handsome colleague.
The handsome, yeah. I'm trying to think. Is this in a way trying to entice me that I need to be energetic this morning?
Exactly. Exactly. You need to be energetic. I know yesterday you were working and, coming on a Monday like this early in the morning.
You still have weekend blues.
Yes, but you still need to be energetic. Like we always, when we come always on this breakfast show, we emphasize that, you need to start your day on a very positive note and you need to have that energy vibe, because basically you can't talk about positivity without having that energy vibe. So it's very, very important that you indeed have that. Yeah.
Well, I'll try to tap into that spirit and be positive, and hoping that our viewers out there are also positive, because we're just 8 days into 2024 and we still have a lot more of days coming in, because this year itself has got about 366 days. So meaning that the positivity levels as well as the energy levels just need to be in check, and ensuring that we keep racing towards the resolution that we made. I think I'll tap into that and be positive for the entire week.
I love that. But anyway, indeed, 2024 has come with its own challenges. Talking about cholera, we have seen that cases of cholera have increased, as well as the number of people dying because of cholera have also, they are continue to increase. Yesterday we did see about 27 people, dying from cholera, and it is very, very serious indeed condition that we cannot say much, but emphasize that people practice good hygiene. So this morning we are going to be looking at cholera issues, as well as calling out there to you, our viewers, and the general public at large, to just to emphasize that you continue practicing good hygiene. But before we go to our main topic this morning, let us just get to see what the doctors have for us this morning, and also look at the money market.
Hi, and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakuyana Mufaya. So this week we are back again with yet another very exciting topic, and we continue to look at conditions that affect women. And since this is March, and March is the Women's Month, so we'll look at another issue this week that affects a lot of women, and it's the most common cancer in women. And so we'll talk about breast cancer this week. Now, breast cancer, like I have said, is very common in women, and many women usually get breast cancer. And so we want to understand what is breast cancer, and what are some of the risk factors that cause or predispose you to have breast cancer. We also want to know what are some of the signs and symptoms, so that when you see those signs or those symptoms, you can be able to take yourself to the hospital or take your loved ones to the hospital. We also look at how it's diagnosed and treated, and then we also look at how you can prevent breast cancer at home. So like I said, breast cancer is very common in women, and it's the most common cancer in women. However, not only women suffer from breast cancer, even men can have breast cancer. And when men have breast cancer, it's more aggressive, meaning it's more likely to be very fatal in men than in women. So even men can have breast cancer. And when a man has breast cancer, then it's more likely to be fatal. So we'll look at breast cancer and what is breast cancer today. So breast cancer is a cancer that occurs in the breast, And there are different types, so many types of breast cancer that can occur in the breast. And so we want to know exactly what really causes breast cancer. Now, there are certain risk factors that people would have that would predispose them to have breast cancer. But most of the times, what causes breast cancer is people who have inherited a certain gene from their family members. So you might find that somebody who had a family history of breast cancer inherits a gene that would cause the breast cancer to occur in their body. And so usually breast cancer is caused by a gene that mutates in the body that would cause the breast cancer to happen. However, there are other causes that we'll look at on a different day. So make sure you watch tomorrow again to be able to know exactly what are some of the other things that can cause breast cancer. So today we're looking at what is breast cancer, and we say that breast cancer is a cancer that occurs in the breast, and we say that usually it's women who have inherited a certain gene from their family members, from their parents or their grandparents, that would have that would have breast cancer, that would develop breast cancer. And so that is what usually causes breast cancer. Make sure you watch tomorrow again to be able to know what are some of the other causes or some of the other risk factors of breast cancer. I do hope you have learned something today, and make sure that you invite your friends to watch as well. And if you missed any episodes of the Health Corner, you can always look at my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Nakwiena Mfaya, and you'll be able to find all the things that we talk about here on the Health Corner. I do hope you have learned something. I'll see you again tomorrow.
I hope you did learn one or two things there. We do appreciate that the doctors have continued to come on board and giving us those healthy tips. But right about now, let's get direct into our money market. We have the United States dollar. They are buying at 25 kwacha 59 ngwe and selling at 26 kwacha 10 ngwe. We have the euro. They are buying at 27 kwacha 90 ngwe and selling at 28 kwacha 45 ngwe. We have the Great British Pound. They are buying at 32 kwacha 35 ngwe and selling at 32 kwacha 98 ngwe. We have the South African Rand. They are buying at 1 kwacha 36 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 38 ngwe. That is our money market for today, the 8th of January 2024, as of 07:32 hours. We have seen Nelson. You did predict
the dollar, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And it continues to surge. Well, now we're seeing that the dollar is selling at 26 kwacha 0.10.
If you're keeping dollars, it's good for you.
Yeah, if you are keeping dollars at such a time, it's good for you.
It's
but
good for you.
The general impact or the major impact begins to be felt at everyone now, both at the cost of living, both at the cost of doing business, as well as any transaction that you would want to make.
Yeah, because we see this reflecting obviously in the prices of commodities.
Yeah.
Where we have seen now. Small shops owners are now increasing each and every small thing. When you're screaming, dollar, yeah. So
you find that even the prices are just increasing overnight. Yesterday I was having a conversation with someone, and then they're like, let's go bulb some 2 days ago. It was at 12 kwacha, and it is 15. How come is that? Like, well, that's how it is. That's how it is. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it. You go in a shopping mall, you buy cooking oil maybe at 150. Mm-hmm. Next time you go there, you find it at 200. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah, but anyway, we have seen that we have been promised by our
Republican president.
Yes. and his administration that they are trying to put in all these mechanisms to ensure that these issues are addressed, and indeed the high cost of living, amongst other issues that Zambia is facing, are adequately addressed in our country.
Yeah, there's that assurance, and it is very important that with time, also we see that assurance reflects to the expectation of the citizens. Why am I saying so? Because there have been concerns, or others have debated to say we've had promises that were made and they've not been fulfilled. But we won't go much on that, simply because they still have some time for them to go and look at how the country is running and everything. So for now, there's still some sort of a benefit of doubt that is going to just hang in there and look at, okay, how far have they gone? Have they worked on this promise? And then if there's need to tick, they'll have to tick. But for now, expectations continue that things are going to stabilize for the better, and everybody will be able to afford, especially midi meal.
Yeah, midi meal has remained a source of concern, especially the people that we have interviewed in the past. There are many concerns that maybe midi meal can be at a price of 150, 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those are the concerns. You'll find, I'll give an example. You'll find that in Mississippi compound, okay, someone is paying rentals in Mississippi compound, because these are the stories that we have done on the ground. You'll find someone is paying rentals at 300 kwacha, okay? This is a house that doesn't have electricity. So they're thinking again, I need to buy a bag of mili meal at 300 kwacha. So what should I do? Okay, a bag of mili meal is it's as same as the price that you pay for your rentals. So these are the issues that people have continued to look at, and you find that these are small people who just depend on just selling vegetables and tomatoes and stuff like that. So indeed, we hope that these promises that have been made to the people will indeed, be fulfilled.
Yeah, we definitely hope that as well. And we know that we're just 8 days into 2024, and a lot more is yet to come, simply because assurance has been laid on the table, and we all need to just keep positive and be expectant that things are going to balance. And for now, I believe we're diving into our segment, which is called the Zooming In Headlines. And this is a segment also that gives you an opportunity to look at some of the stories that you might have missed previous bulletins over the weekend, on a Saturday as well as on a Sunday, and also get to give you an opportunity that you interact with us by simply calling in or giving us your perspective on various stories that we're going to play, as well as the topic of discussion this morning. And then you can fuse in terms of what's currently happening on the ground in terms of the issues relating to the issue of cholera. We've seen cases of this disease escalate, especially within Lusaka. So
yes, within Lusaka, and we have seen that yesterday we did have 25 people dying from this disease, which is a very sad thing. Okay, in 2018 we had this similar situation.
Yes,
and it all became an emergency where we did see military personnel swing into action, being in town just to control the situation there.
Yeah, and as of yesterday, the update that we got from the Minister of Health was that the same has happened now. It's only that these military personnel are being dispatched in various communities to ensure that communities they live up to the standard that is well deserved for them to combat.
I love the approach that they're now taking.
Yes,
going into communities and not in town.
Not in town,
because basically the cases are coming from the community.
Exactly.
So you'll find that if one person is not practicing good hygiene in this community, especially Kanyama, it will spread.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting stories also I saw yesterday was one story from the Zambia Army page, where they're also taking part in terms of ensuring that there's access to water. So they've identified some parts of Lusaka where access to water is actually a challenge. So they're going there with their water bowls and begin to help these residents have access to clean and safe water. So I feel also, to me, that that's a commendable move, because
yes, it is.
Yeah, we cannot just be infiltrated at the same or at a similar place. So it is very important that we also have a diverse of approach. Yes, in as much as we are seeing the entire military personnel going into communities and sensitizing people to say, okay, this is how you're supposed to live. We're also seeing some efforts that are being yes, because remember that the issue of erratic water supply has been very pronounced here in
Lusaka, and a lot of people were mainly depending on water from the shallow wells.
The shallow wells.
We have seen a directive from the president saying they need to bury all the shallow wells.
Exactly.
Because it is indeed contributing to these high cases of cholera that we're experiencing.
Yeah.
So with the military coming in to ensure that, you know, they offer that support, it is indeed a very, very good move.
One might hope that in as much as they are also providing this access to water to communities, one might hope that communities such as Mutendere, Kanyama, Misisi are looked at, because these are areas where we've had issues in terms of water supply. And people have argued that we depend on shallow wells for us to clean our clothes and our kitchen utensils.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be very important now that even the approach that's going to be taken is in conformity in terms of the standards that have been laid. Because others might say, okay, why is it that Kwame Sisi are being provided with water and then we don't have water? There are all these concerns that may arise. I'm just trying to think out loud here.
Quite interesting. Anyway, moving forward, let's get to look at a story where Munali area Member of Parliament Mike Mposha has emphasized the importance of citizens adhering to proper hygiene practice in the midst of a cholera outbreak. Speaking when he made a tour at Kamanga Market in Munali constituency and donated chlorine packages, Mr. Mposha, who is also Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, urged citizens to ensure that their waste storage containers are safe and clean for storing water. Let's get to look at that story.
Introducing Kapi Lodges Kafiwe, a beautiful place to spend your night. At Kapi Lodges, we have affordable and comfortable rooms to meet your expectations. We are located along Kafiwe Road, Shimabala area. For more details, contact us on +260 979 476307 or +260 976 057123 or +260 764 700 003. Email kapilodges@gmail.com. Kapi Lodges, my second comfort, home.
Cholera is considered a waterborne disease that persists in contaminated water. Drinking water that is inconsistently disinfected has been found to be the major causes of the disease, with food sold by street vendors also being a vehicle for cholera. With the disease hitting most parts of the country where inadequate water supply and poor sanitation is the order of the day, the use of chlorine must be emphasized. As part of a community preventative mechanism, Munali Member of Parliament Mike Mposha has implored his constituents to practice good hygiene amidst the outbreak of cholera. During his visit to Kamanga Market Sunday, Mr. Mposha took time to educate restaurant owners at the market on the safe measures they should put in place as they conduct their businesses.
Please, let's be talking to each other. Sure. In my restaurants, because the problem here help us to manage the numbers. Sure. If you are operating in a clean environment, it means you are helping us to manage this situation. Nimkasiriza kota ya vinyalala usatachi taita. Then in manyumba manzenti kumwa, we have to make sure that ikeko chlorine.
While at the market, the lawmaker urged meat traders to find better means of packaging their items as an effort to combat the further spread of the disease.
But let's not do this. Then my containers, are you sure me as so chitani secure, quick, very quick, not like this. Don't sell meat in the please. So I'll be waiting till then you put a proper.
Mr. Mposha, who is also Minister of Water and Sanitation, called on community members to maintain cleanliness and ensure that water storage containers are safe for water consumption.
By dosing it with chlorine, or if they don't have access to chlorine, they must ensure that they boil the water, allow it to cool before they can consume it. But also the issues of storage, where they store the water, because you can get water which is properly treated from maybe the water utility network, but where you store that water is also another issue. If you get water which is quality water, you put it in a container which is not properly cleaned, then there's a possibility that the water will be contaminated. So the message we are sending to them is that storage is as important as the quality of the water itself. So we want to also encourage our people to ensure that they practice hygiene, high levels of hygiene.
To our community here, I'm very happy because immediately after they've heard that the minister have come with chlorine and they've responded positively, and they still need some more. Cholera this time around is it's a deadly disease which has just come at a time where there's rain season and flies are all over, and we've seen that we have taken care of our people by ensuring them that they should keep their surrounding clean.
As of January 6, 2024, the cumulative number of cholera cases since October 2023 stood at 5,071 cases with 195 deaths from 26 districts in the country. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Indeed, the issue of cholera there, it's not only government's fight alone, but everyone's fight. We have seen that lives have continued to be lost because of how people are not ensuring that they adhere to practicing good hygiene. We did see that in 2018 we faced a similar situation where we lost a number of people due to cholera. This time around, this shouldn't be the case. People should know that they need to practice good hygiene. As of yesterday, on the 7th of January 2024, we had about 27 people dying from cholera. Very sad indeed.
Very sad indeed, and I hope citizens within these residential areas also begin to take precautions, because I think the word has gone around that just need to ensure that we keep ourselves rather safe.
Someone was telling me this morning that their uncle got sick yesterday. Around 14, he died because of cholera, and he was buried yesterday.
Yeah, because again, one thing also that
it just shows you. Have you seen how bad it is?
Yeah.
He got sick in the morning. By 14, he was dead and buried. That's how bad it is.
That's how bad it is, and for me, the concern that has come from the Ministry of Health is that there's still some sort of stigma that is associated with the disease, where a lot of families, once they see that their relative has been affected, they wouldn't want to report that person to the health facilities for quick medical attention. But well, I feel the narrative has to change. It's not just about attaching some sort of cultural values to that. Yeah. Well, that one we can do better.
Yeah, we can do better.
We can do better.
Remember what happened to COVID-19? Huh? A lot of people died.
Yeah.
Zambia was not spared from this, and Zambia being a developing country, we'll talk about cholera now. We have to look at other issues that we need to address, debt restructuring and other diseases, other economic challenges that we need to look at. And then we have cholera now in place. It's a crisis for us.
Well,
it is a crisis.
Let's also get to look at some of the story coming through from Lusaka, Chawama market area, where United Party for National Development (UPND) leadership has embarked on a cleaning exercise to help combat the cholera outbreak. One of the traders, Josephine Chiwe, says the fight against the disease should not be left to government, but everyone should play their part by keeping their surroundings clean. Meanwhile, UPND Chawama constituency chairperson for politics and mobilization, Njimunya Chimbulu, has appealed to Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU and well wishes to aid the cleaning exercise with protective clothing, transportation and other necessities. Let's get to look at this story. We'll be back on the other side.
As the country continues to battle the outbreak of cholera in some parts of the country, some traders of Lusaka's Kuku Market and Chawama constituency UPND leadership has taken it upon themselves to unblock drainages that have been blocked for some time now. Those spoken to say the fight against the disease must not be left to the government alone, but that everyone should take responsibility of the cleanliness of their surroundings.
Popo tushtisisha so twachisa mkukrina twali mpeshala njeba president weso atipozi tufetro ekala pa clean popo tuleshtisisha so fo tuishire na group yaba nandi twaisa mkuwamya kuikatana pamo bonse twawamisha chapamo kitia zbanandi yopo bekele pakule pale sangwa clean opo baleshtisha pakule pale sangwa clean ukuthi chimfyo bulwero bubo bwakolera ubushire
timakirina so ndiye pamene tinali kukirina mfolo koma challenge yonena kuti kufunika transport ya kuti ichite chanu ati iti chose so ndio chikuru cha metiriri ku just because cholera is real. Cholera is real, so chifunika at least tuone mamine tinga chitire.
Chawama constituency UPND chairperson for politics Nchemunya Chimbulu says the community will not rest until all the dirty in Chawama constituency is cleaned.
We are working with the market committee together with the people who are trading along the drainages. So we have cleaned this drainage here at Kuku Market, which was very blocked. Water was not passing, but we have managed. Now the water is flowing. We want to contribute to the keeping Zambia clean and green campaign.
We are going to work in conjunction with the entire Chawama constituency, so that every day, if it means working every day to finish this cholera in Lusaka City, we are going to do that because we don't want any deaths in Chawama constituency. So we are going to continue working until the end of the rain season. That is when we are going to finish, with the working of, cleaning of the drainages and making sure that our surroundings are clean.
She has since appealed to the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, and well wishers to come on board and help them with personal protective equipment and transport for the waste.
With this high rates of cholera, we are appealing to DMMU. DMMU, please come on board, come and help the communities and the constituencies that are ready to work with you. We are ready to work. As you can see, a lot of us are here, but we don't have gumboots, we don't have gloves. Please come on board and help the community of Chawama, even the other constituencies that are attacked with this cholera.
Surely, there is need for concerted efforts in combating the disease. However, to authorities that be, this should send a message that plastic waste management needs immediate attention. Probably, authorities must consider banning the use of plastic as one way of keeping the city and the country clean. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
A story there from Chawama constituency where we're seeing traders also taking part in the cleaning exercise. As of yesterday, you may wish to know that about 504 cases were recorded of cholera in Lusaka alone. That tells you something, that there has to be something that has to be done. Just like those traders indicated that it's not a one-man show or something that should be left to the government alone, but it is something that you and I also need to take part and ensure that we keep our surrounding very clean and ensure that we also observe a high standards of personal hygiene, because to a larger extent, this is more of a national emergency, I would say.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We have everyone, now having cholera. Last week we did see the vice president. I should think is it on Saturday last week?
Yes.
She did talk about the same stigma you did allude to, and also how we have seen some expectant mothers also, being admitted to the hospital because they now have cholera. So it is an emergency.
It is an emergency, but I think for me also one factor I would also maybe try to look at is the aspect of how do we prepare as a country in terms of emergencies.
It tells you one thing, Nelson. This is not the first time we're having such a
Exactly.
situation. We had this in 2018 and it was worse. Okay?
So
the question is, what mechanism did we put in place to ensure that in an event we're faced with such crisis, we are ready and able, to control the situation? Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel those stakeholders that have argued that as a country we're more of a reactive nation rather than being proactive would be right to some extent, because trust me, if you are hit with something at a particular time, you are supposed to respond to it and put in measures that are going to help you in the future. But I don't feel there are some measures that were implemented in 2018 as lessons that were picked and ensuring that, okay, going forward, this should not reoccur.
And I have seen on social media various stakeholders have come on board to condemn the current administration of failing to address the situation. But I think that has been very fast, to accuse the current administration of failing to address the situation. I feel politicians shouldn't politicize this case. We're talking about lives being lost. It's not everything that we need to politicize. But we have seen others who were saying there's some opposition. When in opposition, the European declaimed that they
are the solution.
They are the solution, and when they came into office, we also saw that those who are aligned to the current administration were busy alleging or claiming that we are 2 years in office and we don't have cholera.
I do remember that post must have come from one of the members of parliament.
Members of parliament.
Yes, but I won't mention. I know
so,
that, but I won't mention.
So you see, it tells you something that we shouldn't politicize anything. But anyway, Nelson, before we go to another story, let's just take a short break and we'll be right back.
Introducing Kapi Lodges Kafiwe, a beautiful place to spend your night. At Kapi Lodges, we have affordable and comfortable rooms to meet your expectations. We are located along Kafiwe Road, Shimabala area. For more details, contact us on +260 979 476307 or +260 976 057123 or +260 764 700 003. Email capilodges@gmail.com. Capi Lodges, my second comfort, home.
What if I never knew? What if I never found you? I never have this feeling in my heart.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet Media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends, and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. We had some technical challenges, but we're back on your screen. Let's also get to hear from you by simply calling in or giving us that message via our numbers on the screen, as well as our Facebook and YouTube platform. We'll be glad to hear from you in terms of how you're combating or ensuring that you remain safe from the pandemic that has hit the country in cholera. But right about now, let's also get to look at some of the story coming through from Kamwala, where the rehabilitation of about 300 meters of Chongwe Road near Kamwala Prison in Lusaka has commenced at a cost of about 200,000 kwacha. Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Smata says the works are being funded by Gosia Islamic Trust. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Smata says the rehabilitation will involve the putting of reinforced concrete in the potholes and is expected to conclude in 3 days. And we're back on the other side and also get to hear from you in terms of how are you combating or ensuring that you remain safe from the pandemic that we have right about now. Let's get to look at that story.
Emergency rehabilitation of pothole-ridden roads in Lusaka's Kamwala Ward 5 has commenced. The rehabilitation works have started with the worst affected Chongwe Road in Kamwala trading area. Flagging off the works Saturday morning, Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Smata says the rehabilitation is sponsored by Gosia Islamic Trust.
It's about 150 meters of this rehabilitation, and it's going to be done in 3 phases. What you are seeing today is phase 3. That involves cleaning up and deflating the potholes and then putting reinforced concrete on them. It's going to take 3 days. Today is day 1, so we're expecting the last day to be Monday, when the road will be finally opened.
Speaking in an interview, Mr. Smata says the works are estimated to cost over 200,000 kwacha and are split in 2 phases.
Water to the town center all the way up to Kapio Road. So it's an economic road, and that's why we decided to start with this. We are going to roll out other programs of pothole patching, and we are hoping that in the near future we should not be doing pothole patching, but rather rehabilitating full roads like we have done with the ring road, the 2 kilometers of ring road, starting from Kapio Road all the way up to the traffic lights at SDA.
Once complete, the road will see the ease in movement of traders around Kamwala and other motorists on this part of town. For Camnet TV News, Afya Skaptula, Lusaka. Drama as a dispute over the collection of lentils between brothers at a family house in Lusaka's Kanyama Saturday morning left a tenant without a door to his house. This was after a brother to the landlord, Miki Mwape, removed the door demanding rentals from Dominic Banda, who however already paid his rentals. According to the victim, Mr. Banda He pays money to Mr. Mwape's brother, who resides on the Copper Belt, but was taken by surprise Saturday morning when Mr. Mwape demanded for the money. Aggrieved Banda, who had to stay away from work, dragged Mr. Mwape to Concerned Citizens for Justice and Human Rights based in the compound.
Drama ya January was supposed to be there. They supposed to be there because they want to do amenities. They need to make drama yose. So that was my changes. That's me mnaniuza before ngani boli drama. Yeah, so suppose we pila kuja drama. So hapo itabwaje? Tikuchosela ndo.
Questioned why he opted to leave the tenant in the open, Mr. Mwape argued that the move was only meant to summon his Copperbelt brother, who doesn't avail himself to maintain the house despite collecting the money, and leaves the job to him.
Our problem iliyonse kudini aba balibi so nizofuna baja so netenzo kambira ati aba katusaido mwamene wenzo bachitira explain mwenzo mvera bosa mwenzo mvera pamene bawatumira paja bakamba bwanje ati babwera so nizofuna baja bali kuja njaba mnenifuni sisi.
The argument has, however, not sat well with Concerned Citizens for Justice and Human Rights, stating that it is a police case.
You as a family, you handle your issues. Then, after handling the issues, that's when you can approach the tenant, not like the way the situation is, where the tenant is innocent. Then, you come and settle your scores with a person who is not in conflict with the law. So I want to put it on record that because of the serious nature of this case, we have referred this matter to the police.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Those are some of the two stories that we got to play for you. And in case you missed, there was one story about drama in Kanyama. I was almost
Kanyama is always drama. When you talk about Kanyama, you can't talk about Kanyama without attaching drama to it. How do you just go and remove your tenant's door?
And then they've paid.
And then they have paid.
And I wanted my brother from the Copper Belt to travel so that they come back and then face me simply because I'm the one who's been doing the maintenance. Him is just
getting money.
Yes, concentrated on getting money. Yeah.
So the notion of removing the door was to prompt the brother to come to the second facing, because the brother was just concentrating on getting rentals.
Yeah, but again,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Why would now the tenant there? Suffer for that? It's a family problem. They just need to sit down and agree on who should get the rentals.
Well,
I
didn't get the logic, and he was even confident, indicating that, you see, I don't have a problem with my tenant. I have a problem with my brother.
Imagine so unfair to his tenant, and I'm sure the tenant tells you one thing that you wouldn't want to live with or associate yourself with such a landlord.
Yeah.
Because in an event that maybe you're not feeling well, and then you skip a month and try to negotiate for time so that you find resources and pay off your rentals. In such a situation, if you have a landlord who works like that, who operates like that, do you think they would even give you that chance, to look for those resources and pay them? So you get to wonder about how the spirit of Ubuntu is. First of all, why would you take such an action? We are already in the rain season, okay? When you talk about Kanyama, this area is very prone to criminal activities. Anything can happen. People steal during broad daylight. Yeah. And then you talk about removing someone's door. Yeah. And they paid.
And there's that story on the road, Chongwe Road.
Oh yeah.
I'm meant to believe you use that road more frequent because you're based in that area.
Yeah.
Your reaction? Because you're a resident. Yes. You're a resident.
Anyway.
Do you get to swim? Maybe you get to swim in that road, because I was told that you had really bad potholes.
Oh yeah, we had really bad potholes, but I'm glad that works are being done there just to ensure that the road is back to normal. It was bad, trust me. And when you talk about the bad roads, those potholes, they cause unnecessary traffic during night time, even daytime.
I'm talking about traffic. Let's end there, because the area where I come from, traffic even at 6 or 5, you might find traffic.
It tells you how busy people are.
No, not really. Not really.
But anyway, moving forward, let's get to look at a story where more than 5 restaurants operating in unsanitary conditions and trading without health permits have been closed down by the Lusaka City Council at Lumumba bus station. Let's get to look at that story.
We saw the resistance that we met with when we are locating the booths, when we are telling people we have enough trading spaces in designated markets. The issue became political instead of public interest. And here we are today. My ministry is again being blamed for not doing so much. So I want to put it on record that in order for us to avoid this crisis, we must completely depoliticize public health and look at it as an asset for the public. And we as a ministry and as government, we are not going to relent to do what is in the public interest, including closing those facilities that do not meet the standards as prescribed in the Public Health Act. We shall also not relent to enforce other regulations in terms of street vending, in terms of public nuisance, so that we do not have this crisis. Is it not embarrassing that cholera should become an annual ceremony in this country? I'm afraid to say that cholera is synonymous to dirty. So, what are we saying about ourselves? We must all agree, politicians.
In the 2024 National Budget presentation on Friday, 29 September 2023, Finance and National Planning Minister Dr. Stombeko Msokotwane announced an increase in toll tariffs for heavy-duty trucks with 4 axles and above by 100 kwacha and abnormal load vehicles by 300 kwacha. Toll gates were implemented to help recoup the cost of road construction and maintenance at various points in the country, despite some stakeholders in the transport business questioning some of the policies used. On Sunday, 2nd July 2023, the National Road Fund Agency announced that it had so far collected 1.1 billion kwacha from toll fees from 38 toll gates during the period January to May 2023, following the recent toll fee increase by the agency for 4 axles and above trucks from 150 and 500 kwacha respectively to 250 and 800 kwacha respectively. The United Truck Drivers and Allied Workers Union of Zambia have questioned the increase, citing a lack of benefit on the part of transporters.
There have been a sharp increase on toll gates in Zambia, and this has affected drivers because they are not even enjoying the fruits of those price hikes on the fares on the toll gates, because the roads are still in dilapidated state. The drivers are complaining. Each time they start a journey, they spend long hours on those roads, and yet the money is being paid out. And in fact, even those monies they are paying, the toll gates themselves, when we go as unions to go and do collective bargaining with the companies we are affiliated to, usually we have a problem because those companies tend to bring to us that we are paying too much on toll gates. So that really affects our collective bargainings. So, and even the short notice in which these toll gates are being effected is just short notice.
Meanwhile, the Southern African Development Community SADC Truck Drivers Association of Zambia President Eugene Ndlovu has wondered why transporters were not consulted on the issue.
It's very important that we work very closely with the agents. It should be appreciated that we are a key stakeholder. We are the people that use these roads, despite the fact that these monies are paid by our employers, the transporters, the truck owners, it is also imperative to engage the drivers' representatives when such important decisions that border on national interest are made.
The increase of the toll fees is pursuant to Statutory Instrument number 55 of the Toll Amendment Regulation of 2023, and the National Road Fund Agency is on record of the toll fees serving for its intended purpose.
Yes, we know that there are cries out there from different motorists and members of the public on the roads being in a bad state. We understand, and we are saying even the corrections that we have are not enough to finance road maintenance across the broad spectrum of the road network, given the backlog of road maintenance that we have.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The road network in Western Province has been a source of worry as most roads are in a dilapidated state. According to information from a reliable source, the Chisonga Road was funded with 100,000 kwacha from the Constituency Development Fund, but the road has not been constructed. Speaking to Camnet News, Yoi Sitali, a Mongo resident, states that much needs to be done in order to improve the road infrastructure in the district.
That we are receiving here, that we have in Mongo, especially along Chisonga, is this state of the road. As you can see, it's very impossible to come here with a small car during the rain season. There are no drainages as such. People are having challenges in reaching their homes. My only appeal to the local government, if only they can use even the CDF to pave this way and then clear the road so that us people who are here can be alleviated from these sufferings.
Wow, mean bus drivers Masela Chitundu and Sakubita had this to say.
Luziele ruli ma CV likamane luziele muso ulubone kwateni kwa mukoko na wachiso aba utalime never move never kulugiretera mwateni kuli lukone kufita ngande luziele ruli na uyo andi special kwa motaka na sio zasiye ukupauta meme muso watema kateni kuli mukoko ubona mkono hizi busy kwa transportation bag kwa shata ulibasa kwa mtu hapo bakuchavuka kutoka na kabisa.
However, Mongo Municipal Council Director of Engineering, Engineer John Siangandu, has confirmed the development and assured residents that work will resume soon.
Our roads in Mongo, I think they are quite in a deplorable state. And one of the roads that is in a bad state, especially during this rain season, is Chisonga Road. That road is earmarked for maintenance. We have started doing some works, a bit of some works with borrowed equipment from our cooperating partners, AVIC. But of course the equipment is quite busy. But the good news is that from the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF has funded the procurement of earth-moving equipment, which we are supposed to receive before the end of this month, January. And definitely, as soon as we receive this earth-moving equipment, we will be able to work on most of our roads in the township, and the improvement will be seen.
Cherish Siwote for Camnet News.
Those are some of the stories that we were looking at this morning, but do remember that you too can be part of this broadcast by simply coming through with your phone calls, by simply leaving us with a message on our Facebook platform on the numbers on your screen. You also get the privilege of calling in and just letting us know in terms of how the situation of cholera is in your area, because we're so eager to hear from you or listen from you, because this is an issue that calls for everyone's effort to ensuring that it is combated against all odds. And moving on, let's get to also look at another story coming through from economist Yusuf Dodia, who has expressed concern over the non-mention of the implementation of the export tracking framework by Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, In his recent media address, Mr. Dodia says returning export earnings into the country as planned by the export tracking framework is key to arrest the lack of money in the economy. We also get to look at the story where the Agriculture Climate Action Foundation has urged the government through the Ministry of Agriculture to find a lasting solution to the high minimum prices. Foundation Executive Director Oliver Bulaya says leaving millers out to support the Zambia National Service is detrimental to the minimum value chain in the long run. We get to look at those stories and we'll be back on the other side.
For as far back as April 2023, Zambians have been grappling with a high cost of living, which has seen increased cost of basic commodities such as mini meal, among others. After loud cries from citizens, government sanctioned the supply of the Eagle-branded ZNS mini meal onto the market to be sold at a cheaper price.
We'll be selling at 230 kwacha breakfast. Roller meal will be selling at 190 kwacha, 25 kgs.
However, Agriculture Climate Action Foundation is urging government through the Minister of Agriculture to find a lasting solution to the high cost of the commodity.
It is a well-noted factor that despite the reduction of prices of fertilizer, the cost of fertilizer in remotest areas is still expensive, and the government facility to distribute cheaper mini meal is not feasible in rural areas. Therefore, the agricultural transformation agenda must not be seen to ease the lives of people along the line of rail, negating the remotest areas of our country. As we begin this year, we urge the government through the Minister of Agriculture to find lasting solutions to the mini meal crisis by having a roundtable consultative meeting with all stakeholders relevant in this sector.
Foundation Executive Director Dr. Oliver Bulaya has further urged government to engage Millers Association of Zambia, saying leaving them out to support ZNS and other identified players is detrimental to the mini meal value chain.
Nothing can be done leaving out very important parties in the value chains, such as the millers. We employ the government to find amicable and workable solutions with the Millers Association of Zambia, because leaving them out to support the Zambia National Service and other identified players will be detrimental to the mini meal value chains in a long-term basis, and as a sign that government is backtracking on its call to work with the private sector in developing the country. We call upon the government to look into measures that will further lower production cost of maize through the lowering cost of fertilizer and giving incentives to seed companies to do the same.
Today, the average price of a 25 kg bag of mini meal stands at 6 times President Hakainde Hichilema's promised price of 50 kwacha per 25 kg bag, as the commodity is now fetching around 300 kwacha. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Issues of higher mini meal prices have continued to be one of the topical issues that the country has discussed all around. Even as the year 2023 was coming to a close, we also saw these discussions emanating amongst the citizens, especially those I would term ordinary citizens or senior citizens. We also looked at a story where residents in Mongo are calling for rehabilitation of roads because they're saying it is impassable, especially during the rainy season. There are all those concerns, and we hope that with time all these issues are also going to be looked at. But even as we come to a close, it's very important to note that we do have a pandemic in our midst in cholera, and there's need for us to ensure that we safeguard our lives, simply because your life matters. For this country to develop, it depends on human resource, and if we're not safeguarding it by ensuring that we take all the precautionary measures, as well as ensuring that the preventive measures that our health authorities are giving us, it is very important that we also look at all those aspects as well as self-preventive measures by ensuring that we drink water that is either chlorinated or boiled, ensuring that we also look at how is our surrounding, is it clean, is it meeting the hygiene standards. All these are concerns that should actually be put in mind even as we go about our businesses, especially even to those that are involved in ensuring that they sell business or involved in a restaurant business, selling fruits, meat, and all these other stuff. It is very important that also you put in tentative measures that are going to help us ensure that we combat or prevent the further spread of the disease. But from myself, Nelson Zulu, as well as Miriam Kaimba, this is where we kill it today, and we wish you a happy new week. And thank you so much for keeping glued to Camnet TV.